Hello, I'm Jonathan Charnes, and I'm here to discuss whether or not you should reuse your brake rotors. First, I must remind you to always wear proper safety equipment. Second, follow the procedures, the safety procedures that the manufacturer gives you regarding any power tools. Really should also seek professional advice whether or not to reuse your rotors, but that's not always correct, and I'll tell you why. But anyway, step one is clean off the rotors. These rotors were taken off my 2010 Cobalt 6 months ago. Had 90,000 miles, original rotors. And I used an orbital sander. And you can see I cleaned off a little rust here. They were all cleaned off earlier, by the way. It's just after I cleaned them, I let it sit for 6 months outside. But it's a lot of work cleaning them. There's a ridge around here. I used a file to get rid of this ridge. The orbital sander gets rid of a lot of the rust on the rotor. But these are vented rotors, and rust fills up these vent holes. And the vent holes are there to let air through. Well, you won't get cooling air going through if they're filled up with rust, and it's a bit time consuming, but you can clean them out. You don't even have to take the rotors off the car to clean them. You can just pull the wheel off and then just rotate the rotors while the rotor's still in the car, and clean it. There's a tremendous amount of rust these accumulate. I'd probably do this every 25,000 miles. But anyway, it depends on the driving conditions. Once your rotors are clean, you can use a caliper to measure the thickness of the rotor. Now, without cleaning the rust off, in this case, it's about 1 millimeter thicker, 0.8 of a millimeter thicker than the spot that the rust was cleared off of. Rust doesn't contribute to strength of your rotor. And that after a little use, the pads will knock it off anyway. But it's kind of interesting. Here at the edge of the rotor, it was 23.65 millimeters. Toward the middle, it was 23.77, a little thicker in the middle. Same over here, 24.18, but out here it was 23.8. Sorry, we can't. Bent. It was about 23.8 anyway. All good reasons to get it put on a lathe and machined. Okay, you see, I just cleaned off part of it for this video. I chose to put new rotors on. Not originally. My mechanic thought these rotors were okay, although one of them did have some gouging because the brake pad was paper thin, it wore out, and it ground a small amount. I mean, I was able to get rid of the gouge with the orbital sander and file to smooth it out. However, when I put it back on the car, there's slight pulsing. The pulsing occurred only if I applied the brakes lightly. If I applied the brakes heavily, no pulsing. The mechanic didn't seem to think that was too serious, but I had a bad experience with pulsing, and I just, at that point, ordered new rotors. They were $20 a piece, delivered from Rock Auto. That was the price of machining each rotor. So it didn't, I mean, I hate throwing things out. It seemed like a waste, but these were close. Here we are, 23.65. Well, might have been serviceable. The dealer, Curry Chevy, tells me that minimum thickness is 22 millimeters after machining for my 2010 Cobalt with the 2.2 liter engine. That means roughly 3/4 of a millimeter could be removed from each side. Probably marginal. Anyway, the car was in use, so if I jacked it up and took the rotors off, I wouldn't have a car for half a day. Same price, I just ordered new ones, and a few days later they're delivered for 20 bucks a piece from Rock Auto. So they're very reasonable in price. I'll probably just put these in the alley and let somebody who salvages metal take them. I mean, these lasted me 90,000 miles. And they're still probably good, but getting back to the pulsing issue, I had a 1997 Dodge Caravan, and I simply replaced worn brake pads with new ceramic pads. Now, perhaps the ceramic ones were making more heat, I don't know, but once I replaced it, I was getting pulsing. And after a month or so, I noticed that I only had one lug nut holding one of the front wheels in place. The other 4 have sheared off from the pulsing, so I was lucky I at least had one lug nut, and I never realized pulsing was that serious an issue. It also ruined the bearing in the car. So again, it's really important that your brake rotors are machined properly, or you replace them with new ones, because pulsing can be very, very dangerous. Just before I noticed that, I was on vacation around Chattanooga, Tennessee, in the mountains, and right after I finished that vacation, I noticed the pulsing kind of getting worse and worse. Well, I'm just glad that that didn't happen while I was in the mountains, losing a wheel or something. So don't fool around. 9 times out of 10, you're better off just replacing and discarding the old calipers. If you're going to reuse them, check and double check. Best bet, have a professional, although my mechanics seem to think the old ones were okay and that the slight pulsing I had wasn't that serious. But I guess discretion's the better part of valor. Well, thank you for watching. I hope this was of use.